and we're going White Sox at 29. We're going to give the White Sox a little credit for getting a series win. Now, here we go. Back to the normal programming. The Marlins at number 28. Losing the last game of their series against the Nationals, so ended up getting swept there. Sweeping Colorado. That's why they are ahead here in the power rankings for this week. And then losing 2 out of 3 to Oakland this past weekend. But the big story, right? Trading Luis Arraez to the San Diego Padres, getting back a pretty good package of prospects. Dylan Head, Jacob Marcy, Nathan Martorella, and Woo-Suk Go. That was a signing from this past offseason. Overall, I like the move for the Marlins. I saw some people commenting on the video that I did for after the morning after the trade saying, hey, why couldn't they have just signed him to an extension? It's kind of one of those things, man. This is a guy that's ready to go help out a team. In my personal opinion, there was no reason for the Marlins to hang on to Luis Arraez. You need to start looking to the future. Peter Bendix, he came in, he took over. He's the new head honcho now. I think he wants to build his own thing there. And Luis Arraez, I thought, was a good pickup for them because they had talent on the team that, could compete for a playoff spot last year, which they ended up doing. But this year, obviously, we've seen how things have unfolded. There was no reason to have Luis Arraez there in the fold. You might as well, trade him while the value is high. Because you got to think with Luis Arraez, he's not really an amazing defender. Really, you have the bat with him. But long term, sure, yeah, he's going to be a guy that's obviously going to make a ton of contact. He's not really going to strike out. He's going to be a good bat for you, but he's not going to be like a Juan Soto kind of a bat, right? So who knows where the value is going to be as he gets closer to free agency. So you might as well take advantage of that value now. And getting back some very athletic guys in Dylan Head and Jacob Marcy. Those are guys with very high ceilings. Nathan Martorella could end up being a bat that could be a solid bat for them in their order at some point. And then getting a guy like Woo-Suk Go, I thought is a decent pickup. 25 years old, has some pretty decent stuff. So why not? I think it was a good move for the Marlins. Now, what's next for the Marlins, right? The top guy they need to try and move, if the elbow is okay, through a bullpen recently, Jesus Luzardo. This is a guy that you need to unload at the deadline. You need to keep that guy as healthy as possible. My goodness, I don't know if you got to manage the innings with him or whatever you got to do with Jesus Luzardo, but keep him healthy. My goodness, you will get a huge package of prospects back. So that's another one. I mean, you got other veterans on that team, Tanner Scott, Josh Bell, Tim Anderson. You could even move him. We'll see. But for the Marlins, I think it was the right move to trade Luis Arraez. As for current players that are still with the team, Brian De La Cruz, Vidal Brujan, they've been hot lately. So Marlins at 28. Here we go. Let's move on to number 27. We got the Angels. The big story for the Angels this past week, besides losing 2 out of 3 against the Phillies and Cleveland, Mike Trout, knee surgery. What a bummer. What, seriously, like I don't know what to say. It's sad. I want Mike Trout to be on the field. Every baseball fan out there wants Mike Trout on the field. And what do you do here? I honestly think the time has come. You got to keep him out of center field. I think the time is now to make him more of a designated hitter. Go play him out in left field sometimes, but I think you need to get the guy off his feet. I think you need to just stick with the bat. Like I said, play some left. I think you need to take the demanding position of center field away from Mike Trout here. Obviously he can play it pretty well, right? He's not the defender that he used to be, but he's still a guy that can absolutely go out there and play a solid center field. But you got to get the wear and tear off of him, and center field is not going to help him. I even see you in the chat here. Maybe play some first base. I think he needs to just stay out of the field as much as possible. Focus on the bat. That's what we all want to see. We all want to see the bat for Mike Trout. So I wonder if that's going to be in the equation. He should be back this year. It is expected to be back in 2024. My hope was that they were going to trade him. And I don't know if that's going to happen at this point. but I don't know. It's just tough for the game. I feel bad for Mike Trout. He was emotional talking about the injury. It's because this is a guy that just has injury after injury after injury. But there comes a point where you need to really sit down here and you need to think like, okay, is this really the best option moving forward, playing center field every single day? I don't think it is personally. So hopefully a speedy recovery for Mike Trout. Number 26, we got the Pirates. Remember the first power rankings? I had the Pirates just outside of the top 10. They were playing well, and I said, hey, I'm not falling for this Pirates act from last year where I had them in my top 10, and then they just fell off the face of the planet. And here they are, number 26. Sure, winning 2 out of 3 against Colorado, but, swept by Oakland earlier in the week. They are getting some pretty good pitching. Jared Jones here is having an amazing rookie season. 7 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts this past week. Quinn Priester, he was actually pretty good against Oakland. 6 innings, 2 earned. So we're all waiting for Paul Skenes, right? I think it's only a matter of time. I think the most you're going to see start-wise is probably 3 more starts in the minor leagues. Maybe even 2. I think it's going to be probably sometime I actually wonder if they let him pitch through May in the minors and then they call him up in June. That's what I wonder. But I think it's going to be pretty soon. Paul Skenes did pitch today. He allowed his first home run in professional ball. My goodness, he is human, everyone. But 4 1/3 for Paul Skenes in the minors today. 3 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 4 Ks. So, yeah, you know what? I think Skenes, that he needs to kind of go through those times, where he needs to kind of go through some tough, get some tough at-bats in there, give up a home run, have some adversity a little bit. He hasn't really had that. So, and I think he needs to kind of have that experience where these teams are getting scouting reports against him now. They're building up those reports against him. And, there looks like maybe there were some adjustments here in his minor league start today. So I want him to get a few more starts with teams kind of getting a better game plan against him. And then that way he can make adjustments because he's going to have to make those adjustments in the major leagues. Sure, look at the stuff that he has, the velocity, but these hitters today are the best in the world, right? And Paul Skenes, I think, absolutely has the ability to be one of the top pitchers in the game. But, he's going to be having to go up against, again, the best in the world that are going to make adjustments against him. So I think he needs to also work on making adjustments as well. So I say he focuses on that for the next month. Number 25. What is going on with the Toronto Blue Jays? What is happening here in Toronto? I mean, my goodness. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Royals, 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. Alek Manoah making his return. Did not look all that great. Alek Manoah looks like the same old thing. Hey, first start, let's give it a couple more. But, you want Manoah coming back, and you want to see a little bit better out of him, right? But not a good start today against the Nationals, but hey, it is what it is. The offense, up and down. I don't know what this offense is. Vlad Jr. grand slam today. Good for him. Justin Turner, he has been having a good season with the Blue Jays. Jansen, he's been hitting pretty well lately, but a lot of other guys are not stepping up. It's been a very inconsistent offense for the Blue Jays this year. They have been getting some pretty good pitching. Kevin Gausman looked good against Washington this weekend. 5 1/3, 8 Ks. Hey, his last time before that against the Dodgers, 7 innings, 1 earned, right? He has been pitching pretty well. So Berrios, good against Kansas City. Kikuchi had a quality start against the Nationals. So it's just not a team that seems to be very cohesive right now, very inconsistent in all phases, right? I came into this year and I said, I wonder if we see a bit of a step back from the Blue Jays. I didn't have them making the playoffs. I just wasn't sure what their record was going to be. I had them, I think, at 84 and 78. And right now, the pace that they're on, I don't know if they're, I don't know, man. This is a team that just doesn't seem all there. I wonder, could the Blue Jays, it's very early. What if the Blue Jays end up being in a position where they could sell? right? You got some very good players on this team. Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette. Could they end up trading those guys? I would imagine probably not. That probably falls more into like an off-season kind of a trade. Bo Bichette, very talented player. I don't know if really you move him in the middle of a season. Vlad obviously as well. But could you see some of these other guys? Like I just mentioned Justin Turner. Could that be a guy? Yeah, you just signed him, but could that be a guy? He's not getting any younger. Could you end up moving him if they do become sellers? I would imagine Gausman would end up staying, but there are some pieces there. Could they move, right? We'll see. We will see. Kikuchi definitely would be one that could be up for grabs, maybe. So we'll see. Number 24. We got the Cardinals. I just mentioned earlier, losing 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. I mean, I don't know what it is with the St. Louis team. I was a little more on the positive side coming into the year with the Cardinals because they had some guys here that could give you some innings, which they didn't have last year. Bringing in Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, and they're doing all right. Lynn was okay against the White Sox. Not great, though. He went 5+, 4 earned. Sonny Gray, he has been great. 7 shutout against the White Sox. Gibson was really good against the Tigers the last time out. They split with Detroit earlier in the week, but the offense has not been performing. They've been getting a lot of just slumps lately with this offense. Arenado has been heating up. He's been hitting over 300 in the last 7. So, but I don't know. This team just seems to lack life right now. I'm not really sure what to make of the Cardinals. At number 23, speaking of lacking, wow, that is not the right team. The Blue Jays are not at number 23. I have to fix this. This is not the right team. Here we go. Here is the right team. Speaking of lifeless, the Astros did show a little life in the beginning of the week, winning 2 out of 3 against Cleveland, but then losing 2 out of 3 against the Mariners over the weekend. Hader blew it today. Cal Riley with the go-ahead home run there. Like, what? Like, I see you. Danny Deegan in the chat. Disaster. Like, everything is just going wrong with this Astros team. Even their big pickup in Josh Hader has not been performing. He has not been getting the results. So the offense, for the most part, has been okay. Big story for the Astros lately. Jose Abreu going down to AAA. Give it up for Jose Abreu. Say what you will. Say, talk all you want about all the struggles that he's had. But give it up for him, swallowing his pride and going down to the minor leagues, especially with the career that he's had, how old he is at this point, the money that he's making. I will give him a lot of credit for that. Let's see if he can get it turned around. Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena, they've been hot. Tucker, Singleton had a couple of homers in the last 7, but they're not getting that complete performance from the pitching. Valdez did win in his return against the Rockies, but against Seattle gave up 5 and 5 1/3. Justin Verlander was pretty solid against Cleveland, but Hunter Brown rocked against Cleveland. Eric Getty looked a little better his last time out against the Guardians, but just very up and down. Another up and down week for the Astros. They got to start turning this on here. We're May 5th. I will give the Astros the rest of this month to see if they can put together a win streak. We'll see, but it's looking a little bleak for the Astros. I would be very curious to see what a selling Astros team would look like. That definitely intrigues me a lot. At number 22, we got the Rays, up and down week for the Rays as well, losing 2 out of 3 to the Brewers, but then sweeping the Mets over the weekend. How about those jerseys? I think they look great. I think they look really good, right? You got a lot of, got that black, you got the green, the purple in there. You got a skateboard on there too. Hey, got to give it up for the Rays. They know how to make jerseys, man. They're pretty good. Getting some pretty good pitching. They're 4th in starting pitching over the last 7, but the offense has been inconsistent. Paredes, Palacios, they've been hitting well, but everyone else is slumping in this lineup right now. I mean, Randy Rosarena, what is going on with him? I mean, this guy's got to get it going here. Pepio got hit today by a comebacker. I think it was at around 108 miles an hour, and that guy got clipped on the leg. It didn't seem like that went very well because he came out of the game, but he had been pitching pretty well this week. 7 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts against the Brewers. So Ryan Pepio has been having himself a really good year, and hopefully everything is okay there, and he'll be back out his next time out for his next scheduled start. But the Rays, we could be maybe seeing a little bit of life here. We'll see. The Rays, they're always that one team. You can never count them out, right? But I don't know. They've gotten off to a kind of a weird start this year. Let's see if they can use this as momentum going into the next week. Finishing up this tier, we got the Giants at number 21, losing 2 out of 3 to my Red Sox in the beginning of the week. Yastrzemski, though, homering at Fenway Park. Gotta love that. Kyle Harrison, he was, you gotta love the phrase, effectively wild, but that's exactly what he was against the Red Sox in his start. He went 5 innings. He walked 5, but he struck out 7. Kyle Harrison is a guy that just has nasty stuff. He looked really good, minus the walks, right? Offense has been just whatever. Estrada's been hitting well, but no one else has really been hitting well. I mentioned Yastrzemski homered at Fenway, but, I think the Giants they're losing right now. I think that game was still going on. Or is that game over? I believe. All right, so they made it a little closer, but the Phillies pulled out another win. We'll get to the Phillies here in just a little bit. But the Giants... I don't know, man. The great offseason, but it just seems like none of these pieces are just fitting. Blake Snell has not been, it's a brutal pickup. I don't know. I was thinking, wow, what a great signing at the time, and it has just not worked out. Let's move on to the next tier. Moving on to number 20. The Diamondbacks at number 20. What is this team? I was very high on this team coming into the year. Lots of young talent there, having a pretty good offseason themselves. And a bummer of a week, losing 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers and the Padres. They are 25th in WRC Plus over the last 7. Christian Walker's been hitting pretty well, but that's pretty much it. Fought, he got rocked against the Padres. Luis Arraez making his debut. 5 earned, 10 hits in 6 innings for Fought. I don't know what's going on here. Montgomery, he got lit up against the Dodgers. 6 earned in 3 innings. Corbin Carroll's been off to a tough start this year. I don't know what is happening with this Diamondbacks team. It's just been a very, very bad start. And I was expecting a lot better than this. So, number 19. We got the Nationals. How about the Nationals? They've been pretty fun. I mean, my goodness. How about Jesse Winker today? We talked about Alek Manoah earlier. Jesse Winker, this guy's having himself a renaissance of a season. Good for him. They finished off the sweep of the Marlins. I mentioned that earlier. But then they lost, 2 out of 3 to Texas. And then obviously, the Blue Jays this weekend, doing well against them. C.J. Abrams still hitting very well. Nick Senzel's been hot. Like I mentioned, Jesse Winker with the homer today. They have actually been getting some pretty good pitching. They've been 10th in starting pitching Fangraph WAR over the last 7 games. Irvin has been pitching wonderfully. 0 earned in a loss against the Blue Jays, but he went 5, solid start. And then against Miami, he went 6 and gave up 2. Hey, Irvin, man, he's been a good story here for the Nationals. Williams, he picked up the win against Texas. So, hey, the Nationals, man, I kind of said this coming into the year. This is a team that has young talent. They have some just fun players there, and they, made a couple of moves in the offseason. Nothing crazy, but, bounce back candidate kind of moves. And then look out for, James Wood, Dylan Cruz down to the minor leagues. Hey, the Nationals, bit of a fun team. How about the Oakland A's? Who would have thought? I am actually blown away. I am blown away at this. The Oakland A's are at number 18. I actually wonder, I actually wonder if this is a little low for the Oakland A's. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but Oakland, man. Gotta love it. You gotta love what they're doing here. They had a great week. Sweeping Pittsburgh. Did extremely well against the Marlins. Sure, some weaker teams there, but they're getting the job done. They just massacred the Marlins on Saturday, scoring 20. They scored 10 runs in the third inning. The Oakland A's, where has this come from? Because of that outburst, they are now first in offense over the last 7 games. J.J. Bleday, former Marlins legend, he's been hitting great. Brent Rooker's been red hot. Rooker 2 home runs in the same inning against the Marlins on Saturday. First A's player since Mark McGwire in 1996. Pretty good company there for Brent Rooker. Bleday, he went 3 for 5 in that game with a homer and 4 RBIs. Langlier's showing up, 3 for 5 and a homer. How about Brett Harris, 2 home runs in that game. Number 9 prospect for the A's. They're just getting guys contributing. Even Abraham Toro and Nevin, they've been contributing. They're getting a lot of guys contributing here. Hey, good for them. They got a chip on their shoulder. People thought, oh, this Oakland team stinks. They're not even going to be here. They're going to Sacramento and they're going to go to Vegas. And hey, good story so far. Could this be the story of the year? Starting pitching. They've been getting some really good pitching. J.P. Sears, Blackburn's been pitching well. Stripling, Boyle. They were 4-0 this past week, a 2.78 ERA from those guys coming into today. And actually, let me just go double check that box score from today. I mean, they did get pounded today. Who got the start here today? Okay, so Boyle had a good start last time out. He only went an inning today, gave up 4. So, yeah, this was whatever. Marlins pretty much took over this game in the first inning. They just exploded with 4 runs there. So, but minus this loss today, a huge week for the Oakland A's. And how about Mason Miller? I mean, I actually wonder if Mason Miller could be a Rookie of the Year candidate. This guy's pitching great. A 1.26 ERA. The FIP is at a negative 0.06. A negative FIP. That's how good Mason Miller has been. He's actually giving runs to the A's with how good he's been. I wonder if he could be a Rookie of the Year candidate. Paul Blackburn. This is a guy I wondered coming into the year if he would be a trade candidate. But if the A's keep winning, well, I don't know. What if the A's just keep winning here? And what if they're in wild card contention? Is Paul Blackburn still going to be a trade candidate? I don't know. Joe Dodson, $5 super chat. So if we keep winning in Oakland, do we get to keep our team? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I still think they're gone. But who knows? I mean, I don't know, man. That's a good question. That's definitely something to think about over the next couple of days. I do hope they keep winning. I see you in the chat. Joe, you said, I hope they keep winning. I hope they keep winning too. I want them to make it tough on Oakland. I want them to make it tough on the owner. I mean, if winning is the answer, then my God, go win a World Series, Oakland, please. Up next, we got the Mets. The lineup up and down. Lindor has over a 500 slugging in his last 7 games. Beatty's been hitting well. OPS over 1,000 in his last 7 games. And that's it. There's not really much else, right? Starting pitching has actually been pretty good. I will give credit to the starting pitching. Severino, Minaya, they've been pitching well. Severino, he went 8 innings against the Cubs in a no decision. Minaya had a win against the Cubs. Budo, he pitched pretty well on a loss, 6 innings, 6 Ks. Christian Scott got called up. He pitched pretty well against the Rays the other day, 6 2/3, 6 Ks, 1 run. But there's no offense. The bats have fallen asleep for the Mets, so we needed that offense to pick it up a little bit. So moving on to the Reds, goodness gracious, that was embarrassing. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Padres and then getting swept by the Orioles. Offense, same thing as the Mets. The offense has completely fallen asleep. 28th in the last 7 games. It's not helping the pitching. They have been getting some pretty decent starts. Nick Lodolo was not very good today. Gave up 4 in 5 innings. But against the Padres, he was really good. He struck out 11 in 7 innings. Graham Ashcraft was really good against the Padres, too. Sure, Ellie De La Cruz is hitting well. Candelario is starting to show some signs, but the offense as a whole has not been good for the Reds lately, and they are just falling like flies right now. I believe they have now lost 4 straight, or is it 5 straight? Let me go confirm that. The Rays have lost 5 straight. So the Reds have lost. There was another potato brain moment. No, the Reds have lost 5 straight. So they got to get this going here. They got to get this going. At number 15, we got the Tigers splitting with St. Louis earlier in the week, but then they got swept by the Yankees. I mean, they didn't exactly get rolled over by the Yankees. They were pretty competitive in all of the games. Today, Juan Soto just did them in at the end. Skubal was amazing today. 12 Ks, 6 innings. Gave up a couple of runs, but Skubal is so nasty. Oh, that was my Cy Young pick, man. I hope he keeps it going. But just like the Mets and the Reds, they're not getting enough offense, right? They're getting production from Green and Perez, but Rogers, Vierling, sure, they've been doing well, but Torkelson, Kana, and Keith slumping lately. Hey, Kana, I'm not even going to get on to him because he's been having himself a good year. But Torkelson, what the heck has happened to this guy? I don't know, man. Torkelson, he made strides last year, and this guy is just doing nothing again, right? A couple of years ago, remember, bad season. Seemed like, okay, he's trending upward last year, but what's going on? I don't know, man. I remember coming in to that draft in 2020 when Torkelson was the number 1 pick. This guy was so hyped. I mean, people were looking at this guy as one of the next best hitters in Major League Baseball. I don't know, man. I hope he gets it going. Colt Keith, he's rookie year, right? Got the extension in the offseason. Just hasn't really been able to do that much. So the Tigers, up and down week. Number 14, we got the Padres. Hey, the Padres look pretty good this week, right? They got a rise, first game. All of a sudden, they're just putting runs up on the board left and right, winning 2 out of 3 against the Reds and the Diamondbacks this week. The Luis Arraez trade, I think, is really good for their lineup. Now, funny enough, they had been okay in the leadoff spot. In the first inning, they had been a pretty productive team. They actually ranked pretty well when it came to offense in the first inning. And while they were using a couple of different guys in the leadoff spot, they still were doing okay. I believe they ranked 14th in batting average or 13th in batting average. So not necessarily bad, but they needed a guy to be their leadoff hitter. And Luis Arraez, to me, is perfect. Now, I think you could even argue, hear me out here. I actually wonder if Luis Arraez is a better fit for this lineup than Juan Soto. Not saying he's better than Juan Soto, but I think last year it just felt like they kind of didn't have that spark plug, right? They had the big old bats, right? You had that juice in the middle, but I felt like they lacked that sort of Luis Arraez kind of a guy at the top. And sure, losing Soto, that's always going to be, tough getting rid of a guy like that. But I think if you just let these guys like Tatis and, let Bogarts kind of get himself going more, Machado, let them do their things in the middle of the order, have Arraez be that guy at the top to set the table, then I think this is a really good lineup, right? Top to bottom, you can have Ha-Sung Kim, be that energy at the bottom of the order. I like it. A lot. I think it's a really, in my opinion, I think it's a complete lineup, right? Top to bottom, they just got good, solid bats. And, Cronenworth has been really good this year. He's bounced back. So I like this move for the Padres. I think they do need to add some pitching for the rotation. I just worry about Darvish and the durability there. And Musgrove has not had the best start this year. Dylan Cease has been amazing. I think they could use something else for the rotation. But I think let the lineup cook. Add a little bit of pitching. But another guy that's been stepping up for them, Jerickson Profar. How about him, right? Brought him back last year, and he's doing really well. He's been great lately. Tatis Machado, they've been solid. So, hey, I like the Padres lineup right now, and I'm looking for them to carry that momentum into the next week. And number 13, we got the Rangers. Hey, how about them Rangers? How about the Rangers? So, in the last 7 games, the Rangers, 8th in offense, they've been getting some pretty good production for the most part. A couple of guys still aren't really going yet, but Nate Lowe, he's been red hot. Garcia, Carter, Smith, they've been hitting pretty well. Need a little bit more here, from Seager, from Semien. Need those guys to get going a little bit more. But they've been getting some really good pitching. Really good pitching. Dane Dunning, he picked up a win this past week. John Gray, picked up the win this past week. Evaldi with the win against Washington, but now he's on the IL with a strained groin, so hopefully he's not going to miss a lot of time. Heaney was pretty solid against the Nationals in a loss. But for the Rangers, right, still just waiting for the Rangers, kind of just to I'm just waiting to see a little bit more, right? I think for the most part, they're in a pretty solid position, right? Against the Royals this weekend, they were just going crazy on Saturday. 15 runs. Goodness gracious. Waka has not been a very good pickup for the Royals so far. But, sure, it was kind of a weird weekend for the Rangers, right? Only 1 run in game 1, and then 15 in game 2, and then they pulled it out late here. And also, shout out to Kirby Yates. Kirby Yates, man, what a pickup for him. You know what? Let's go pull up some Kirby Yates here. This guy has just been crazy. Look at these numbers with Kirby Yates. He's 3-0, 5 saves, 14 innings, 16 Ks. This guy's been fantastic. This guy, I think, is, looking like a comeback player of the year candidate. He came back last year, right? He pitched a lot last year. So I guess he's not a comeback player. But if you just think about what he did in 2019 and just all the issues that he was having, 21 didn't even pitch, 22 came back, and then last year had himself a pretty solid year. But what in the world here? He's just putting together like that 2019 kind of a year. Man, what a great pickup. What a great pickup this has been. But got to give him a shout out. So, but for the Rangers, I think 13 is a good spot for them right now. Good week overall. I just feel like they have not fully hit their stride yet. And that's scary, right? They're 19-16, and they haven't even, gotten everyone fully going, right? Still waiting for Wyatt Langford to do a little something. All right, so number 12. I got the Mariners at number 12. I actually debated whether or not to put them at 11 or 12. I settled with 12. They had a good week. Very good week. Winning 2 out of 3 against the Braves and the Astros. The offense this year, the reason I'm not putting the Mariners at number 11 is because I'm still waiting for that offense to fully click. I see some of you in the chat. I see some of you. Listen, the pitching is amazing. Don't get me wrong. This pitching has been amazing. But I want to see the offense be consistent. I think that's fair. If you hate me for it, then okay. All right, I'll take it. But I want to see the offense be more consistent, right? Rojas has been off the charts. Josh Rojas, what the heck is going on? This guy's looking like freaking Barry Bonds right now. My goodness, he's looking amazing. Jorge Polanco's been solid. Cal Riley with the big home run today against Josh Hader, right? But he had been slumping. Julio Rodriguez, slumping. Mick Shanager, slumping, right? So they have been having some good things, but it's so up and down this year so far. The pitching, though. the pitching. We all knew the pitching was going to be good, but let's just look at some numbers here. I mean, Bryce Miller against the Braves, 7 innings, 10 Ks. Castillo picked up a win against the Braves, 7 innings, 7 Ks. Logan Gilbert has just been great. 8 shutout against the Astros, 6 1/3, 9 strikeouts against the Diamondbacks. I mean, we all knew this pitching was going to be good, right? I just want to see the offense be a bit more complete, right? And I know they had a good week. I can already see it now. I can see the Giraffe Neck Robbie comments. I'm putting the Red Sox at 11. I know they just lost 2 out of 3 against the Twins. Oh, people are going to leave the chat now. I can see it now. Here's why I have the Red Sox ahead, right? Because the Red Sox offense, they have just been finding a way to get it done, right? They had a couple of, clunkers against the Twins there in the first couple of games, but hey, things look pretty good today. Vaughn Grissom back in the lineup, got himself a 2-run double. Just saying. Am I getting cooked in the chat? I'm getting cooked. Hear me out. I'm not done yet. Okay. They salvaged the series today. Devers homered today. Jarren Duran, another triple. My goodness, looking good. Wilyer Abreu has been having himself a really good season, hitting 307, a 380 on base, 489 on the slugging. But here's the reason why I have the Red Sox ahead of the Mariners right now. Is because the Red Sox offense has been better than Seattle this year. It just has. It's not my opinion. That's just a fact. They rank better when it comes to WRC+. The bats have been more consistent with the Red Sox this year. It's simply a matter of fact, right? Can't argue that. And the Red Sox, hey, I'm praising the Mariners pitching right now. Has anyone been seeing how good the Red Sox have been pitching? And also the Red Sox bullpen has been statistically better than the Mariners bullpen. So that's why I have the Red Sox ahead of the Mariners, right? Sure, Mariners had the better week overall. The Red Sox, though, when it comes to the rankings, when it comes to the offense and the bullpen, they rank better than the Mariners there. And they match up with them starting pitching-wise. So, sure, the Mariners, they've been getting some amazing pitching, but the Red Sox have been getting... Have you seen Tanner Houck and Cutter Crawford? They're both in the top 3 in starting pitching Fangraph WAR. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. I'm just saying. So, but I see you. Jeremy Harrington, you are spamming my chat right now, and I see you. Red Sox are starting to come back down to earth. Hey, let's see. They got a big series against the Braves. I'm just saying. Look, this is a test. This is a good test. And the Braves, they are cold. So I'm just feeling the Red Sox in the 11th spot right now. Feeling it. You might not like it, but what can I say? Before I get to the top 10, everyone, do just want to shout out today's sponsor, and that is BetUS. So I actually made a couple of bets this past week. So I really missed. I really missed when it came to the Diamondbacks and the Padres on, was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday. I was feeling the Diamondbacks in that one, and oh boy, was I wrong. I didn't know Luis Ariz was going to even be playing in that game, and all of a sudden, that guy got to that game real quick. And so yeah, Padres annihilated the Diamondbacks, so that pick was terrible. I did make a pretty decent pick earlier in the week, though. I actually, when it came to, let me just pull this up here. There was the Royals and the Blue Jays. I actually went with the Royals in that one, in the game that I went with. I bet 25, and I won myself $31. So, luckily, I had that one going for me. So, for this coming week, listen, it's not just baseball right now. You got basketball on. You got hockey on right now. How about the Bruins? The Bruins getting the Game 7 win. Thank goodness. Can the Bruins, Can they just get it all together and just win the Stanley Cup? Please. That's all I'm asking. But if we were to take a look at some of the games on for this week. So, first off, the one that I see here at the top of the page, we got the Padres and we got the Cubs. Plus 108 for the Padres on the road. Cubs favored at home, minus 118. And the pitching matchup, it's an interesting one. You got Yu Darvish against Justin Steele. Hey, Yu Darvish going up against his former team, but, Justin Steele looking good this year. 1.93 ERA so far. Just came back recently. So if you were to go with a road pick, and the vibes right now with the Padres, sure, had the loss today, but Luis Arraez changing that lineup. Maybe that lineup can give some issues for Justin Steele. I think the Padres could be a pretty good pick for tomorrow night. I actually like this one a lot, and a couple of guys, they have seen Justin Steele. Luis Arraez, newest addition, like I've mentioned a million times already, hitting 500 against him in 6 at-bats. Bogarts has seen him a couple of times, Cronenworth. So some of these guys are used to him. Now, a lot of these guys on the Cubs, they have also seen Yu Darvish. You got Yan Gomes, he hits well against Darvish. But not a whole lot else, man. You got Horner, Happ, they have not hit well against him. Morel, Swanson. I like this matchup for the Padres tomorrow. So I actually think I am going to go with the plus 108. I'm going to throw down, if I threw down 25, I would win 27. I'll stick with the 25. $25, that would win me $27. So I'm going to throw that down. I'm feeling pretty good about that one. But check it out for yourself. The link is in the description down below. You get a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. You get over $1,000 in bonuses just by signing up and depositing. If you deposited $500, you get over $1,000 in bonuses. That's not bad, if you ask me. Go take advantage of it. It's a good deal. And just by clicking on the link and signing up, it really does help support the channel. It helps more than you would ever know. I promise you, it goes a really long way. Really helps support the channel. But you could also go win yourself some cash. Make sure you play responsibly. That is the most important thing at the end of the day. So, but again, there is a whole bunch of games on for tomorrow. Not just in baseball, but you got basketball on. You got hockey on. So go take advantage of it. Go look at the matchups. Make sure you go look at the stats that can help you make your picks. I like to go on Fangraphs. I like to look at the recent stats when it comes to making my picks. And I've been doing pretty well with my picks this year so far. So here we go, everyone. Let's move on. Let's get to the top 10, shall we? Let's get to the top 10. Ah, my background's back. I wonder why the background went away last time. I don't know why. Anyway, let's start this off here. At number 10, we got the Brewers. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Cubs this past weekend, but winning 2 out of 3 against the Rays. 6 in offense over the last 7. Adames has been on fire. Contreras is having himself another good season. Starting pitching has been pretty good for the most part. Peralta, Rea, they earned wins against the Rays. For the Brewers, it was just an up and down week, right? They've been in the top 10 here for all 4 of the power rankings so far. They have been going down a little bit. But I think 10 is a good spot for them. I just like what they've done so far. Their offense has been very surprising to me this year. I wouldn't say because of what they have, but we're just not used to seeing the Brewers offense do this well. So usually it's the pitching that does well. But number 9, I got the Cubs. Since the Cubs won their series against them, I have them ahead. And the Cubs also split with the Mets, and they continue to get great pitching. The Cubs, my goodness, the Cubs have been so good. When it comes, like Imanaga, man, a 0.78 ERA, FIP at a 2.23. This guy's nuts. Yamamoto, I know he's starting to pitch better lately, but Imanaga, this guy, they can't hit this guy. It's crazy. I saw it firsthand against my Red Sox. Wes Nesky, 6 1/3, 8 strikeouts. looked great against the Brewers. How about him? He had a bad year last year. Jameson Taillon looked good against the Brewers. 6 shutout innings. Has a 1.13 ERA in his first 4 starts. The offense has been a bit up and down. Christopher Morel, 4 home runs, though, in the last 7. So you're definitely seeing him get in on the action. Horner, Wisdom, they've been pretty solid for the most part. For the Cubs, solid week. Solid week. Series win against the Brewers, splitting with the Mets. So, and number 8, how about the Red Hot Twins? I think people might think I'm getting ahead of myself, but you know what? Listen, you win 12 straight games. Yeah, you're going to make a pretty big jump, right? I believe last week they were at number 14 or 15. I can't fully remember, but wow, they were playing great. Playing very well, sweeping the White Sox this past week, winning 2 out of 3 against my Red Sox. The bats have been red hot, 4th in offense over the last 7 games. Willie Castro has been just so hot this week, hitting .452 over the last 7 with a .677 slugging. That was coming into today. This guy had been on fire. My goodness. Jeffers, Kepler, Miranda, they've been hitting well this past week. Starting pitching, pretty solid for the most part. Pablo Lopez, he's not looking like Pablo Lopez last year, but he's still getting the job done. He's picked up a win in his last 2 starts. Paddock was really good against the Red Sox the other night. Joe Ryan looked good against the White Sox. I mean, I'm just saying, this Twins team, yeah, they lost today, but they're red hot. So, number 7, I thought about putting the Twins ahead of the Royals just because of how hot they've been, but I'm not ready to move the Royals down below the Twins just yet. I got to give the Royals their flowers. They have been playing pretty well for the most part all year. They did have a series loss against the Rangers, so do keep that in mind, but winning 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays. The offense, 11th overall in WRC Plus over the last 7 games. Massey's been great. Witt, Mikel, Perez, they've been hitting well. So they're getting pretty good offense over the last week. Cole Reagans, he pitched really well against the Blue Jays. Had to leave with a leg cramp, but he went 6 2/3, 1 earned, 9 Ks. Very good. Cole Reagans, man. Almost went with him for my Cy Young pick. I actually wonder if that guy could actually go for a Cy Young. Brady Singer, Seth Lugo, they've been pitching well. But Michael Wacha, I mentioned it earlier, he has not been very good. Not very good. Jimmy Productions, $1.99. The Nationals are currently the 6th playoff team. You got to love it, Jimmy Productions. You got to love it. I know you have been a proud supporter of your Nationals for so long. And again, I'll mention it again. Coming into the year, I saw this Nationals team maybe being a fun team this year. Who knows if they can actually pull off a playoff spot? I would probably lean more no. Feel like they're not quite there yet. But I said coming into this year, they have the potential to be like what the Reds were last year, what the Orioles were a couple of years ago. So I think the Nationals, they're on their way. At number 6, we got the Guardians losing 2 out of 3 to Houston, but playing well against the Angels, salvaging their week. Steven Kwan, Jimenez have been hitting well. J-Ram with the home run today. Gotta love that. The offense had been pretty cold, minus Kwan and Jimenez, but hey, good offense from the Guardians today. The starting pitching, 27th in starting pitching in the last 7. Ben Lively was really good against the Angels. 6 innings, 1 earned. Carrasco was pretty solid for the most part today over 6 innings. So the Guardians, they've just been a really solid team this year. I was wondering when, or just, what the Guardians were going to be this coming year. I came into the year thinking I love their pitching, right? I was just a little curious about the offense. And right now, when I'm looking at let me go to the leaderboards here on Fangraphs. Let me go to WRC Plus. They are 10th in WRC Plus on the year. So, they're getting it done with the bats, right? It was just, I was a little confused with the bats coming in. But they're showing a lot right now. And looking at the Guardians right now, I saw this earlier. Kyle Manzardo, he will be coming up here. So look out for him this coming week. Kyle Manzardo, he had been hitting really well. in the minors. So Kyle Manzardo, 29 games so far in AAA, hitting .303, a .375 on base, a .642 slugging, 9 home runs. So that's only going to help the offense even more. So, oh wait, is that because Stephen Kwan going on the IL? Right, that's the move that corresponds with that one. So I'll be excited to see Kyle Manzardo. I still remember when Kyle Manzardo got drafted, I tweeted out the best tool Kyle Manzardo has is his mustache. And like 5 minutes later, Kyle Manzardo himself liked that tweet. I will always remember that. So here we go. Number 5. Wow, this one's a little surprising. This one is very surprising. I can't believe I had to drop the Braves down to number 5. What in the world happened to the Braves? Losing 2 out of 3 to the Mariners and then swept by the Dodgers this past weekend. 1-5 on this week's road trip. The offense has gone completely cold. 28th in WRC plus over the last 7. Riley, Acuna, Albies have been hitting pretty well, but the rest of the lineup isn't doing anything. Matt Olson's not doing anything. Ozuna homer today, but I'm just saying the Braves, they just went ice cold out of nowhere. And I have to give props to the other teams right now because they've just been playing exceptionally well. I think it was just a perfect storm for the Braves to fall this far because the teams above them are just playing excellent. And the Braves they picked like the worst week to go ice cold. If the Braves had like an up and down week, they'd probably still be in the top 3. But because of the just horrible week, combined with the other teams having amazing weeks, I kind of just had to do the flip-flop there. The pitching has not been bad. Sale, he got the win against the Mariners. Chris Sale going up against my Red Sox this coming week. That'll be fun. Can't wait for Chris Sale to just no-hit the Red Sox. It's going to be perfect. It's literally going to happen. Fried was not bad today. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. He went 7 innings, 4 earned, gave up a couple of home runs. Goodness gracious. Speaking of home runs, Shohei freaking Ohtani is a monster. But he had no offense to bail him out. So, I'm just saying. Sound FX is coming in hot. Coming in hot with a super chat here. All due respect, Braves, I thought you were about to say should be in the top 3. I thought that's where that was going, and you just kind of I'm shocked by this. The Braves shouldn't be in the top 10. Horrible L's against the Mariners, then dismantled by the Dodgers. No offense, pitching on life support. Matt Olson is painful to watch. 2 versus Boston, 3 versus the Mets. Hey, I'm telling you, I think Chris Sale, this guy's going to shut out the Red Sox over like 8 innings. I'm just saying. Sound FX, I always appreciate your takes, my friend. I know you're upset with your Braves. I think it'll be okay. Hey, the best of teams, they go through some bad weeks. I'm just saying. But Sound FX, I appreciate the passion behind that. I started reading that and I thought it was going one way and then it just went the other way. Like I thought you were about to say they shouldn't be out of the top 5, and so I like it. I like the modesty there. Very good. But the Braves, they're gonna be fine. Number 4, we got the Yankees. We got the Yankees at number 4. Up and down week for them, losing 2 out of 3 to the Orioles, but then having a good weekend against the Tigers. Big walk-off win against the Tigers. They were shut out for 8 innings, and all of a sudden they came alive. Stanton with a double. Rizzo with the walk-off hit. Yankee win. And how about Rizzo lately, man? He's been just going crazy. Anthony Rizzo owns the Tigers. Had the walk-off against the Tigers. 3-run home run against them this past weekend. Aaron Judge is alive, ladies and gentlemen. He homered today, but then Juan Soto is the star of the show. He is the absolute star of the show in Yankee land right now. They need, sorry, was it 3 out of 4? 3 out of 4, sorry. Losing the series against to the Orioles. But, wow, it was really 4 games. Huh, interesting. I thought it was 3. I don't know why I thought it was 3. Where was I? Juan Soto, Yankees. They need to get that guy locked up. That guy's an absolute Yankee. Completely changed the game. At number 3, we got the Orioles, winning 3. Why did I think they only played 3 games? Winning 3 out of 4 against the Yankees and then sweeping the Reds. Adley Rutschman, Ryan O'Hearn, Mountcastle, they've been hitting well. Getting good pitching lately. Irvin, 6 1/3 scoreless this past week. John Means made his debut. 7 scoreless innings against the Reds. Hey, Orioles with a great week. Orioles with a very good week, right? I see you in the chat. Sean, Orioles should be 1 or 2. I don't know. I'm feeling a couple other teams right now. And let me actually go to the Orioles here because there's one more thing I just wanted to check. Let me actually see one thing here. Irvin's been pitching really well. Corbin Burns, he pitched pretty well against the Yankees. He only gave up 2 runs in 6 innings. He struck out 6. So that was a tough luck loss for him. They've just been playing solid baseball. Nothing against the Orioles. Hey, don't get upset that the Orioles are at number 3. It's a good spot. My goodness. Number 3. That's pretty good. I just have to give credit to the other 2 teams that are left. So we got 500 people in this chat. The question is, who is number 1? We got the Phillies and we got the Dodgers. I had a tough time with this one. I had a very tough time because I think there's an argument for both to be number 1. I think the Phillies have been playing great baseball. They've been hot. They rank very well in pretty much every category. Defense, middle of the road, but that's okay, right? Starting pitching has been amazing. Offense has come alive. Bullpen has been looking good. But then you got the Dodgers, on the other hand. They had a good week, sweeping a good Braves team. Hey, that says a lot right there, right? The Braves, you know how good they are. One of the best lineups in the game, and they took care of business there. They rank now first overall in WRC Plus in Major League Baseball. Starting pitching is top 10. It was a very tough pick. Very tough pick for me. I'm going to make people upset regardless, so what am I going to do? Number 2, I'm going Phillies. Dodgers, I'm going number 1. And here's why. I think just the sweep of the Braves, when you take down a team like that, that's big. That's big time right there. That's a big sweep, right? No disrespect to the Phillies, but the Angels are not the Braves, right? No, not taking anything away. I'm just saying. But you won 2 out of 3 against the Angels, and you have taken care of business against the Giants. I think just beating the Braves the way they did was just huge for the Dodgers, in my opinion. For the Phillies, though, they've been playing great, right? To me, I think you could say it's almost like a 1A, 1B. They're both playing great. The Phillies, 6th in offense on the year, 1st in starting pitching, 3rd in relief pitching, 14th in defense. Very good offense lately. They scored 14 runs on Saturday. Schwarber, Bohm, Stott, they've been hot. Now, this was another factor that went into my Phillies decision at number 2. Trey Turner going on the IL, has a hamstring issue. He's going to be out expected 6 weeks. So that took a little bit away from the Phillies, in my opinion, because you just lost a really good piece in Trey Turner. So I had to factor that in just a little bit too. So just saying. But the Phillies, they've been pitching great. I mean, well, I wouldn't say lately they've been pitching great. They've been pretty good for the most part, but they're not like elite, right? When it comes to Fangraph WAR over the last 7, they're 23rd actually, but they're still getting the job done, and the bullpen's been very good. But they are 1st in starting pitching on the year. As for the Dodgers, number 1 team for me right now. I mean, the offense has just been nuts. I mean, these guys have just been pounding the ball. Ohtani, 2 home runs today. He is now, it was kind of a joke, but he is now the all-time Dodgers leader in Japanese-born players when it comes to home runs. He passed Dave Roberts. So, pretty funny. Funny enough, he passed Dave Roberts and he got him a car. Ohtani got Dave Roberts a car after he passed him on the all-time home run list for Japanese-born players. Max Muncy with 3 home runs on Saturday. Freeman's been hitting well. Smith is hitting well. Betts, he's actually kind of slumping a little bit right now. But the offense has been really good. They've been getting some really good pitching. Very good pitching. Glasnow, 7 innings, 10 Ks against the Braves this weekend. Yamamoto picking up the win against the Diamondbacks. Paxton pitched pretty good today. Stone, he pitched pretty good against the Braves. And another thing that kind of came into this for me, the Phillies losing Trey Turner, and the Dodgers are gaining Walker Buehler. So that kind of factored in a little bit for me when it came to who was number 1 and who was number 2. So those are my power rankings. I'm sure I'm going to get some grumpy people in my comments. I probably already got people in my comments right now saying, wow, this guy is an absolute idiot. And you're not wrong about that. You saw a couple of potato brain moments for me earlier in the show. I know my brain is not the best of them all, but I feel okay with this, right? And if you're mad at me, okay, that's okay. I'll take it. I already see someone in the chat. Voodoo Magic trash list. I know. What can I say? I'm doing my best out here. I'm doing my best. But everyone, I'm going to wrap it up here for tonight. I am very tired. My goodness. You can already see my brain is not working. So everyone, thank you for stopping by tonight. If you can, on the way out, if you are new, think about subscribing. We had 500 people in this chat. That is a season record for this year so far. So thank you to everyone joining me. And hit that like button. The goal was 200, and we actually broke that. So if we can get to 300 on the way out, I will love you forever. Share the power rankings, and everyone, please make sure you go check out all the videos that I posted this past week and the last couple of weeks. Go check them out. There's a ton of content on the channel right now. So make sure, go look at those. Go leave a comment on them. I'd love to see what you think. Everyone, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you next week for the 5th episode of Power Rankings. Who knows? Maybe the Phillies can grab that number 1 spot next week. We'll see. Maybe the Oakland A's could be in the number 1 spot. Who knows? Everyone, have yourself a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.